The 4th of July. Time for flag waving, barbecues, and fireworks.
We'll bet you didn't know some of the horribly weird history of this great American holiday.
Let's dig into this.
Warning: viewer discretion advised.
On June 7th, 1776, the Continental Congress was presented with a motion calling for the independence of the colonies from Great Britain, and basically, all hell broke loose. The debate was, and I put it mildly, heated, and it went on until July 2nd, when a formal vote passed almost unanimously.
After the vote, John Adams, founding father and second president of the United States, wrote to his wife saying the 2nd of July would be celebrated as the anniversary of our independence. He suggested parades, games, sports, guns, bells, and bonfires. He was pretty close except for the date part.
So why do we celebrate on the 4th? It's the date the Continental Congress formally adopted the Declaration of Independence, confirming the vote taken on July 2nd. Adams would refuse to recognize the 4th for years.
Before everybody decided independence was the way to go, the colonists had celebrated King George III's birthday on June 4th every year, with parades and speeches and bonfires. By 1776, feelings had changed, and some celebrated independence by holding mock funerals for the king. It was supposed to signify the end of the monarchy's hold on America, but we kind of get the point.
Philadelphia held the first Independence Day celebration on July 4th, 1777, even though we were still at war fighting with the British to make it real. Ships in the harbor fired their cannons 13 times, honoring the original 13 colonies, and that evening fireworks lit up the night sky.
The next year, George Washington let his troops have double rations of rum to celebrate, and in 1781, Massachusetts became the first state to make July 4th an official holiday.
Since everybody was busy with the Revolutionary War, they didn't get around to making July 4th a national holiday until 1870, and in 1938 it became a paid holiday for federal employees.
Apparently, from the 1820s through the 1850s, it was popular to travel to George Washington's home at Mount Vernon for the 4th of July. Many folks hopped on steamboats traveling down the Potomac to make a day of it. Picnics on the grounds were common, and folks would pay their respects at Washington's tomb.
This became so popular that it was announced on July 4th, 1822, that large groups arriving by steamboat and engaging in eating, drinking, and dancing in parties would be prohibited due to their unruliness and the mess they left behind.
On July 4th, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, two founding fathers and former presidents died within hours of each other. Thomas Jefferson, the third president, died shortly before 1 p.m. that day at his home at Monticello, Virginia. He was 83 and had been ill for some time.
About 5 hours later, Jefferson's frenemy, John Adams, the second president of the United States, died in Quincy, Massachusetts at the age of 90. His last words were, "Thomas Jefferson still survives."
Founding father and fifth U.S. President James Monroe died on July 4th of 1831, 5 years to the day after Adams and Jefferson.
James A. Polk is the president to thank for the huge Washington, D.C. fireworks display on the 4th. Only in Polk's day it was held on the White House lawn. In 1845, after dinner on the lawn, where the Declaration of Independence was read, thousands watched the fireworks go off, until one unexpectedly flew into the crowd, killing one and injuring dozens.
President Zachary Taylor hadn't felt well for a couple of days, but attended the 4th of July celebration held at the Washington Monument, which was still under construction in 1850 anyway. It was a hot day, and Taylor drank lots of ice water and milk, and ate a big bowl of cherries, and died 5 days later. While it was probably cholera, the milk and cherries treat has been blamed ever since.
By the summer of 1970, President Richard Nixon wasn't very popular. It would get a lot worse a few years later. But in 1970, protests against the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War were leading to clashes like the one at Kent State University, which had resulted in 4 students being killed by Ohio National Guard troops just 2 months earlier.
So Nixon and his advisors came up with the idea of holding a big rally on the 4th to bring folks together, called Honor America Day. The idea was to put politics aside. We all know how great that works. The Reverend Billy Graham, who was very popular at the time, and Bob Hope, whose support of the troops was being construed as support for the war, were promoting the event. What could go wrong?
Well, just about everything. Entertainers invited to participate wanted no part in what they called a political rally. As Billy Graham opened the day's festivities with a sermon at the Lincoln Memorial, protesters held a smoke-in, lighting red, white, and blue joints and waving Viet Cong flags.
Protesters started taking off most or all of their clothes and wading in the reflecting pool, chanting anti-war slogans. And that was just the beginning. The evening entertainment, hosted by Bob Hope, was interrupted when tear gas, used on the protesters, blew into the main crowd, starting a stampede of folks trying to get away.
Thanks for watching.
Hey, here's another Dragon Den video you might like.
And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button.
And you can hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when our videos come out.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.